Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lenny. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to build your very own AI-powered agents that automatically sends detailed real-time information about any area straight to your Telegram chat. So whether you are a real estate professional who wants to instantly share neighborhood insights with clients, or you're just curious about automating hyperlocal data with AI, you're in the right place, because in this video, I walk you through step by step setting up your Google Places API to fetch key points of interest around the location, building an automated workflow with amenity that collects and formats data, generating a dynamic Google Maps link so that you or your clients can explore the area interactively, and finally sending all of this data to your Telegram chat with a polished, easy to read message. So by the end of this tutorial, you'd have a fully functional AI agent that takes an address or sets of coordinates, gathers neighborhood details like nearby schools, hospitals, and shops, and sends a complete report automatically to your Telegram application on your phone. And also, if you find this helpful, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more tutorials, and let's get started. So first things first, I'm going to walk you through a simple demo of how this works, after which I'm going to walk you step by step on how to build this. So let's get started. So I'm going to go into my Telegram application in here. I already created a channel in here and I called it US Rental. This is just restricted to the United States at the moment. It doesn't include Canada, the United Kingdom. And then in this Telegram channel I have created, all I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the address in here. So like I mentioned, the address format should be the street name and number, the city, the state, as well as a postal code. I'm going to enter this. I'm going to come into my workflow in here, and I'm going to run this workflow. The ideal thing is once I run this workflow, it's going to pick up the address from my Telegram chat because I've configured it to do so. And I want to pick up the address, it's going to return the information I need in my Telegram channel here. Okay, so as you can see, this has been returned for us. So this is the message we got. So it seems that the area around your prospective rental property is vibrant and full of educational and recreational facilities. Here's a highlights of some of the nearby places that you may find interesting. And it gives an idea of all the activities or all the schools, the amenities in that vicinity. And it also gives you an idea of what the type of neighborhood is. So just to let you know, this is just the MIT address I put in there. So it's saying that this neighborhood is attractive for both students and families, offering ample opportunities for education at admits. And I also just see an interactive map, a dynamic map link here, where you could basically go in and sort of explore. So if you come in Google Maps, you could really explore restaurants in that area, schools and stuff like that. So this is really what it does. Very simple, and I find this to be very useful, especially for real estate agents who are trying to rent out a property to people looking to rent a place. All right, so now that I've demoed the entire application and how it works, I'm going to show you exactly how I built this. So let's get into building. So I'm going to come into my end workflow here. I'm going to create a new end workflow as I start off this tutorial. I'm going to come into my end, and then I'm going to click on create workflow. And then like I mentioned, I'm using a Telegram trigger. You first need to create your Telegram account. To do so, all you need to do is you go into Telegram and you search for the bot further. You just follow the instructions saying that you just say you want to create a new bot. It will give you an access token which you could eventually use. I've already set that up already, so I'm just gonna continue because I already have this configured. Yeah, so I'm going with the Rental API and they should be fine. Then the next thing is, like I mentioned, I'm using the RentalCast API, and this is the documentation. They give you about 50 credits to use for a month. So I mean, for testing purposes, I think this should be okay. But if you are eventually building this on a large scale or for production, you may want to consider paying for it and all that. But this is good for what I need it for. Okay, so you need to create your own API key here, and then once you create your own API key, you're going for, I'm just using the property data API. Okay, so property records, and then you basically just have to select a call command. So if you scroll down, so I'm using the search queries API. And so if you come into the link in here, you'd have the call code which you can use, and all you just have to do is you just copy the call code and then you paste it into your HTTP node. Okay, so I already have this set up from the demo I showed you, so I'm just going to show you how it looks like. So this is it. So you just input your call code in here, and then the address will be from the previous node. Like I mentioned, you'd have to put in your address. So if I should test the Telegram step, you'd see, and then you need to once you input a call, you also need to have your API key set up and everything. So I'm going to run this for now so that you have an idea. So this was picked up give me like the address of the location. So really that's all I'm doing. So in here, I'm just going to drag in the address of the location, which is the text here, just 77 Massachusetts Avenue. And then now that I have the address of the location, what I'm going to do is this is where I'm going to be calling my Google Place API. You need to make sure that you have like your Google Maps API set on and enabled. So if you come into your Google Cloud console, for instance, you click on APIs and services, just make sure that you have your Places API enabled as well as your Maps API enabled. Okay, so I already have my Places API enabled. You have your API TM, everything like other wonderful APIs that Google sort of like gives out for free. If you look at like their pricing, I believe you have about 1 million tokens or so for free, but do verify for sure. But this is definitely really good. So I'm using the Google Places API as well. So if you don't have an API key, then set one up. For Google Cloud Console, in order to like set up an API, you need to also provide billing information, but you're not really actually charged until like you exceed the free tier, which is a lot. So that's really good. Okay, so in here, what we are doing is for the URL, this is really the URL. You need to also enter like information about the latitude and the longitude, which is what you would get from the previous query into RentalCast. And then that's all you need. And then you need to also add in like your Google API keys as well. But yeah, that's all you need to set up the longitude and the latitude. And based on this information you've provided, you'll be able to like, once I run the node here, in case it doesn't compare, as you can see, like it's giving me details of pages and all that. So this is good. This is really good. So what we're gonna do next is you're gonna have like a code node, and really what this code node is doing is it's sort of like turning up the information we've gotten. Okay, so you need to include a code node. So you need to just like click on add, and then you search on code node, and here you can run like custom JavaScript. And yeah, don't worry, like I always do, I'm gonna drop the link to the templates in here for you so that you could also like get a code and everything. So this code is sort of just like giving us like summary of all the data we've gotten from the results, which is essentially like names of places and and also giving us a list of all the places. So it's just doing a bit of like cleanup work for us. If I should execute this node, as you can see, like it's cleaned it up nicely, giving us a summary here, which is good. Okay. Now that we have this ready, the next thing is we want to put everything into a field. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to use like the set field node. And in the set field node, creating a dynamic map URL. And in the dynamic map URL, all we are doing is we are adding in the latitude information as well as the longitude information from the previous step. And then we are passing the summary, and then we are also passing the list of places. And we are passing all these because we are going to use our AI model in here to sort of like structure the information to make it a lot more readable, a lot more easier to understand and all that. So I'm just going to select like an AI agent in here. And the model, I'm using OpenAI. I mean, you could use like Gemini and all that. I mean, why would you not use Gemini, right? You can use Gemini because at the end of the day, we are using like all Google product, okay? And you want to do this for free. So yeah, if you use Gemini, if you didn't have to pay, okay, it's going to be free. But I decided to use OpenAI in here. Okay, so I'm using this OpenAI node for my model. And in terms of the model, I'm using GPT-4o mini. And for memory, I'm using this just simple memory, okay? And the memory, I am sort of configuring it in such a way that I am only passing like the Abit ID from the, you can also probably pass the check ID. I think the check ID will really make a lot more sense to pass. I'm just passing the Abit ID in here. In this AI agent in here, all I'm saying is I'm giving it a bit of instruction. You are a helpful real estate agent. The user has asked for neighborhood information around the property based on the following information, which is essentially like JSON family we created from the previous step, JSON places. I generate a friendly and detailed and informative answer suitable for someone looking to rent. And nearby places is what we have in here. And then this is the dynamic map URL that was created from the previous step. And and then I'm going to like a structured output parser to sort of like format it exactly the way I want it to be. And again, since I'll be dropping the JSON file, you don't have to like worry about this JSON structure. That sort of like gives you an example of how the output data should look like. I'm just gonna save this right now. Let me just run this workflow and just test it out to see what we're gonna get. Okay, so this has been completed for us. We have the summary, we have the school information and everything we need. So that's great. That's all we needed. So at this point, you can just pass it back into Telegram and it'll give us the output we want. So coming back here and then, so in terms of the resource, I'm choosing message, operation send message, passing in the chat ID, which we got from the first step. If you scroll here, you would see the chat ID, which I have in here. The text we are passing is we are passing the summary text as well as like the dynamic map that was created in the previous step. And that should be it. Okay, so that's fine. As you can see, like if I should just like hover on this is what we are expecting as a result. And so at this point, all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna click on execute step. And if I should check my Telegram app, I go back into the channel and I check the Telegram API to see that the message has been generated for us here. So as you can see, saying here some excellent nearby places, and it talks about like the school, College of Music, talks about the high school, talks about so many things, and it tells you that you could basically like go onto the map and there you can decide to search for perhaps and you'll be able to see everything in there. So that is it, guys. A very simple workflow that's very helpful. If you're a realtor or you're a renter, you can try this out and see. I think this will be beneficial service for realtors for sure. But that is it for today's tutorial. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Share, subscribe. See you in the next time.